Well, I think I just found my favorite book of the year so far. And it is If You Ask Me by Libby Hupsher. I found this book to be very compelling. And I have to say that the two issues that our character, Violet Covington, faced haven't touched my life in any way whatsoever. But, well, no, pretty much I haven't lived the life that Violet Covington led in this book, but I felt her. It was very, very real. Now, let me tell you her primary issue, what sets the foundation for this book. By the way, she's a popular advice columnist called Dear Sweetie. Up to this point, she's anonymous. People don't know that Violet is Dear Sweetie. Well, she comes home from work and she discovers her husband, Sam, in bed with another woman. Obviously devastated, she kicks Sam out. She pretty much has a breakdown. Like, she just cannot believe that he would cheat on her with a neighbor of theirs in their bed. So obviously she kicks him out. But she takes her column, it's an advice column, and her frustrations come out in her column. And what I like about this book is you'll hear, I listened to it as an audiobook because I got it like after the release date, which was March 8th. So therefore I was able to grab it as an audiobook. When someone would write her a letter, the letter would be read, and then you would hear Violet giving her response. So I think that happened 10 or 12 times. So it was very interesting to see, like Dear Abby type questions come in. But Abby used her personal experiences to flavor her advice column, even to the point where her job at some point came on the line because, you can always go too far. But why do I say that this would be one of my favorite books so far this year? It's the energy. Now, when we talk about the energy, it's the way the author writes the book. In fact, I don't know if this is in the Kindle book, but in the audio book, the author even warns. I'm just going to bring it up on my Kindle to see if the warning, because it's kind of important what I want to say. I do want to say something, but I do want to check it. Yes, okay. It's very important for me to tell you what I need to say. So since I listened to it as an audiobook, I definitely wanted to check the ebook, or in the case of if somebody got this as a print book. And I'm going to read part of the letter from the author. This book deals with the issues of infidelity, infertility, miscarriage, anxiety, and alcohol abuse. Now, she says, while I tried my best to portray such difficult subject matter with as much sensitivity and thoughtfulness as possible, I know this content might be upsetting to some readers. And if this triggers your anxiety in any way, then, don't read the book. And I love that she did that. And I think as a responsible reviewer, it's my job also to share those same trigger warnings. Okay? Now, it even goes a little bit further, like anxiety and panic attacks. And we'll see that with our character, Violet. Now, again, why did this book hit me so hard? I haven't dealt with infertility or miscarriage and alcohol abuse. I've never experienced any of those things. But I felt Violet's character as kind of a shroud. I felt her emotions, her pain, her devastation, her loss, her hopelessness. It was done so well. It was done so well. And I also liked the fact that she not only made mistakes, but she owned her mistakes. You know, because you have so many people in the world that will make mistake after mistake after mistake, but their pride and their lack of humility doesn't allow them to see their faults, and they don't try to fix what is broken about them. But that's not what we see with Violet. We see what she's thinking, what she's learning, how what she says to others could have a good effect or even a catastrophic effect. You know, and then even like when she's at her worst when it comes to alcohol and the decisions that she makes to stop that train from going out of control. And then taking the collateral damage to the mistakes that she made with regard to her impulsivity in her actions after her husband cheated on her, to the things that she wrote in her column, and try to change her life. But there's one other thing that made this book just perfect. Is there was an incident, and I'm not going to look it up in the book, but there was an incident when Violet decided to burn all of her husband's belongings in a fire pit. Okay? Well, the fire came out of control, so the fire department was called, and a fireman named Des enters into the scene. Des is just the perfect man for Violet. The thing is, do you enter into a relationship when you're healing from something that devastated you? Well, you'll have to read this book to see what happened with Violet and Des, what interactions they had even before it became evident that they might even get together, and how he was just the perfect counterpart to her. I just love this book. I have to give this book 5 stars. I don't know. I'm just going to check Goodreads real quick. It's kind of getting not such great ratings, in fact. The average rating on Goodreads is 3.62, with only 16% 5 stars, 39% 4 stars, and 33% 3 stars, and then even some 1 and 2 stars. But I'm a very, very sensitive person. My skin is so thin you can basically see through it. So I kind of have a bit of an empathic part of my personality, and I feel and I felt for Violet, even though, like I said, I haven't experienced many of the traumas that she experienced. But the way that Libby Hupsher wrote this book was just perfect. So that's If You Ask Me. I hope that you'll read it, and I'd like to I might even come back to Goodreads after a few weeks or months to see if some of those ratings come up. But my personal take on it, it's one of my favorite books so far this year. So that's it for now. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.